Good morning, friends. I hope you're having a good morning. My morning's getting started a little slower than usual. My wife got to town yesterday after a few glitches. She has a vehicle that seems to have a software problem in the onboard computer system, and so sometimes it doesn't want to act right. But she made it. She endured. She overcame. And life is about adapting and overcoming. She had to endure driving in a very, very warm vehicle. The way the computer system operated and malfunctioned a little bit on the onboard computer system is the electronics kind of froze up. And so she was able to drive okay. And she was able to get here okay, but she had to do it in a very, very hot vehicle that was blowing hot air instead of air-conditioned air. And yet she adapted and overcame. She didn't allow that to stop her at all. And every one of us face challenges in life. Every one of us have setbacks. If you haven't had one, I rejoice with you that you haven't had one. But the truth is, eventually you will. And, in life, we have to learn to adapt and overcome. We have to learn how to face challenges in a way that doesn't break us down or really poo-poo other people. The fruit of our lips is so powerful, so important. So I think it's Proverbs 18 talks about death and life are in the power of the tongue, and that we will eat the fruit of that. We'll eat the fruit of our words. And when challenges come, one of the things that we have to do is really guard ourselves from speaking negatively. And the truth is our words carry a lot of weight. Our words carry a lot of power, not just for us, but for those around us. Scripture is full of exhortations and directives on how to edify and build up one another. The term in the New Testament that's translated edify, it literally comes from the idea of to build up. For example, edify means, if you think of an edifice. And so our words actually create an environment. Our words create a climate around us. Our words create our future. With our words we speak our future. Before you ever build anything, before you ever create anything, that thing, it resides in your mind. And what resides in your mind begins to come out of your mouth because you begin to speak those things. And when what resides in your mind comes out of your mouth, you begin to build. And so, for example, I remember one time I wanted to build a picnic table. And I had a neighbor who was a retired Army guy, and he sat there and he watched me build that whole picnic table. I didn't have a plan on paper for the picnic table that I followed, but I had the picnic table and the idea in my mind. And so I sat there, and cut the lumber and screwed the screws in and built this picnic table, and this guy watched me, and it was a couple hours. And he marveled because he said, I could never do anything like that of himself. I'm going to get under a tree here because it's raining a little bit. But he said of himself, I could never do that because, I don't have the creativity or anything like that. And he marveled. To me, it wasn't a big deal because I had in my mind what I wanted to do. And so I just had to kind of lay it out and build it. And, we need to have a vision for things and begin to have the courage to speak that vision, and then have the courage to execute on it. And part of the way we do that is through our thoughts, but also through our words. Thoughts become words, and words become deeds. And so edifying and building is something that we're encouraged to do all the time. The scriptures are full of encouragements about one another. I preached a whole series this year, early in the year, about one anothering. And Submit yourselves one to another, encourage one another, pray for one another, build up one another, and exhort one another with these words. And so sing to one another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. And so what are you about? What's in your thoughts? Well, it'll come out of your mouth, and it'll execute in your deeds. Where are your thoughts? Where are your deeds? And what are you executing? Who are you building up? Whose words and what kind of words are you operating out of? What kind of words are you putting out there to create an environment? Jesus said, my words are spirit and my words are life. He didn't say they're just spiritual, but he said they are spirit. Our words carry a spirit. Our words have a spirit about them. They have an orientation. They carry, and the term spirit means spirit. The term is pneuma in the New Testament. It means spirit, breath, life, wind. And so our words, in a very real sense, carry our breath and carry our spirit. And so we create very much a climate about us by the way we communicate. And I've mentioned this before. We've probably all walked in a room where somebody was arguing or having a tiff, and you could sense the tension. Why? Because our words are spirit. Our words carry a spirit. We've all probably have friends that after being around them, we feel so happy and encouraged, and we love the fact that we're around them. Then we probably also have had friends, neighbors, relatives, co-workers that you feel really down after being around them. And why is that? Because the fruit of their lips produces something, and the fruit of our lips produces something. And so who are you encouraging? Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. How can we do that? Through the fruit of our lips. One of the things that I do a lot is I like to sing. I don't know if anyone else likes to hear my singing, but I believe God does. And sometimes the way we can encourage ourselves is through singing, through worshiping, through, just honoring God. A lot of times we just have to kind of get our focus off of ourselves. And, if you've had a setback, if you've had a discouraging thing occur, sometimes we just sit around and have a pity party. Well, there's no point in that. All right, we all have regrets, we all have challenges, but sitting around having a pity party, there's a very limited amount of time you want to spend doing that. I remember when my kids were little, if they got in trouble or got hurt or I had to discipline them and they were crying, I'd give them a minute to cry. But after about a minute, I'd say, all right, you're going to live, dry it up. You're not dying. All right. And so, we can't spend our time whining and crying. I talked about the fruit of our lips, and some people you enjoy being around, and some people it's just a weight to be around them. And part of the reason is the negativity that they just constantly pour out of their mouth. If you're thinking that you're a victim all the time and woe is me, you're going to have very few friends, and the friends that you have are not going to be friends that are going to be encouraging you most of the time. You're going to attract other friends who are they're dwelling and stewing in victimhood. And so, assess your life, assess your words, assess the people that you're attracting. Are they positive people or negative people? And if you're only attracting negative people, or people are just repelled by you, it's really important to be honest with yourself and assess what's coming out of your mouth. Assess what you're putting off. Are you putting off negativity? Are you spewing just constant complaints? One of the things that I really encourage people who are single is find someone who carries a positive disposition, a joyful disposition, and whose words are not complaining words, but words that are words full of life, words that are full of edification, exhortation, encouragement. Those are the type of people that you can build a life with a whole lot easier than somebody who's always complaining. Young people always are looking for, oh, she's gorgeous, or he's handsome, or he drives a nice car, they're hot, blah, blah, blah. You know what? That's very superficial, and that's not going to last forever. And what about their personality? Do they carry a joyful spirit? Are they positive people? If not, do yourself a favor and look for someone who's positive. Let that be one of the things that is a characteristic that you're looking for. And you know what? If a person, we don't even have to be attractive physically so much if our character is attractive, if our disposition is warm, if we have a smile. I was telling somebody recently, you know, people like to be around positive people, and you'll never be lacking friends if you're a warm, positive person. You're confident. One of the things that exudes confidence is a smile. You know, if you're all the time walking around like you've been drinking pickle juice and baptized in vinegar, you know, sullen, and you know, that's not going to produce anything that you're going to be happy with in the long run. Okay, and so create a joyful spirit, a joyful disposition. You can change these things. You have the power to change these things. And so if you have a close friend or two that you can help encourage one another, hold one another accountable. If you know, somebody hears you getting negative, if somebody sees you've lost your joy, don't let anybody steal your joy. Don't put your happiness, don't put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. All right, you're as happy as you choose to be. And so don't put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. All right, don't give other people the authority in your life to control your mood, to control your happiness, and to steal your joy. Okay, I hope that this touches somebody and helps somebody. Parks out.